Good evening. Welcome to the April 4th, 2022 Merrimack School Board meeting. Please join me and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight, Board Member Jenna Hardy is excused. Board Member Lori Peters will participate via conference call. The meeting proceedings will follow RSA 91-A:2, which states that all parties must contemporaneously be able to hear and speak to each other. The meeting should be audible to the public, and all persons present must be identified, and all votes must be taken by a roll call vote. Board Member Peters, why is your attendance not reasonably practical this evening?
Because I am sick.
Where are you located?
I am at home.
Are you in the presence of anyone?
No.
Okay. Board Member Peters, how do you vote? And actually, we don't need to take a motion for this. Sorry, we haven't had anyone call in for a while, so excuse me. So I think we're all set to move forward. The next item on the agenda is public participation. So for public participation, anyone who wishes to speak, please state your name and your address for the record. Come to the microphone. If you are a student here, just state your name and that you are a student. I also wanted to remind folks that this evening is the last night for public participation to be sent via public comments email. I'll state another reminder at the end of this meeting. I'd just like to ask administration to make sure any of our references to that are updated, as soon as possible prior to the next meeting. Okay, public participation.
Naomi Halter, 10 Everest Drive. Hopefully everybody knows by now that I'm hoping to be elected to the school board next week, but what I actually wanted to say tonight is, in doing this, I've come to realize how incredibly challenging it is to put yourself out there. And I wanted to recognize Board Member Barnes and Chair Guayumi for their service and their willingness to step up and help our community and our schools. And just thank you for your years of service to Merrimack. It's appreciated, and it's not unnoticed how hard you've worked, especially the last couple of years. And I'm in a happy, appreciating everyone's sort of mood, so I also wanted to, I've been coming to meetings for about 6 months now, and I've noticed that our administrative staff right now, Mr. Olson, Ms. Yarlett, and Mr. Chevenel, have started some great things and are working on some great things, and I'm really excited about where the district is going. I can't wait to see what's coming across the horizon. And the other group that I wanted to recognize is our teachers. I wanted to tell our teachers that I see you. I see the near heroic efforts that you've made the last 2 years to have as normal and of an experience as has been possible under exceedingly difficult circumstances. The last 2 years has been rough, and I've watched amazing teachers and amazing support staff and amazing people step forward and do what's great for our kids. I'd like to remind the public and anyone watching that the election is on April 12th, and I hope everyone in town, no matter how you do intend to vote, that everyone should go to the polls. School board elections and town elections are very important, and I hope everyone participates. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any public comment email, Shannon?
We have 4.
Okay, we'll start one. We'll go back and forth like we've done in the past.
Okay. Dear Merrimack School Board, I want to speak in support of teachers in regards to the proposed school calendars. In the district survey, 82% of teachers requested starting before Labor Day. Teachers are the heart of this district, and we should honor their request. I sincerely want to thank Shannon Barnes for her dedication to our community and our school board. Sorry. Ooh. Was going to be good. I'm not going to be good. So, was not expecting it, sorry.
Would you like me to read?
That's all right.
Okay.
She has a wealth of knowledge and willingness to follow procedures that I admire and appreciate. I thank you for your time serving our students, staff, and the community. I wish you all the best. Thank you. Joanne Grobacher, 27 Craig Drive.
Thank you. And we'll move back to
Right.
public comment. Any other public comments?
I'm not as tall. Good evening. My name's Heather Robitaille, 45 Springfield Circle. I just wanted to talk tonight, last meeting, and I know it was just mentioned now, about the need for revisiting and changing the public comment by email policy, since the COVID numbers are thankfully lower, which we are all grateful for. And at the time, sitting here in this room, I thought that sounded completely reasonable. Then I went home and I thought about it a bit more. And I thought about those families who are still high risk and have high risk family members, and those families with children that are still too young to be vaccinated. And my heart goes out to them. And then I thought, beyond COVID, because we all want to be there, we want to be through this pandemic, I thought about all the caregivers and parents that we have in this town that maybe don't have childcare at night, so they can't actually make it in person to these meetings. I thought about our members of our community who work a number of different shifts and different hours to provide valuable services to us that can't physically be here. And I thought about members of our community that may be disabled, may not have the physical availability to come and be here in person. And one thing I've learned from being in this room with all of you many times over the last, 6 more months, is that regardless of whether what's being shared matches my own personal views, it teaches me something. It teaches me about other members in the community who have different lenses and different experiences than I do. And we're here to talk about our schools. This is our community, and we're stronger together. And I would just ask that the board maybe think about reconsidering that we continue to get as much community participation as possible. And I think the policy, if there are too many comments, that they just be included in the minutes seems completely reasonable. But I'd hate to see voices shut out when we really, in my opinion, want to encourage all the more involvement in these really important issues that we discuss here. So, thank you.
Shannon?
And thank you, Heather, for the save. I needed a minute. Cheryl Garrison, 65 Turkey Hill Road. Please keep the tradition of starting the school year after Labor Day. It allows the summer to come to a close with a long weekend of rest before school starts. Cheryl Garrison.
Thank you. Any other public comments? All right. And then if you'd like, Shannon, just go ahead and finish up the email comments.
Next is from Gretchen Ricks at 58 Natticook Road. My name is Gretchen Ricks, and I live at 58 Natticook Road. I have 3 children in the Merrimack schools, one at JMU's, one at the middle school, and one at the high school. I am in favor of school starting after Labor Day, as we've done for many years now. Families look forward to that extra week of vacation at the end of the summer, and many have already made plans for trips or even staycations. Beyond the obvious joy of having that extra week, there is the practical side to look at as well. It seems to make very little sense to have the kids go to school for 2 days, immediately have a 4-day weekend, and then start the year in earnest on September 6th. That's very disjointed for the kids and teachers, I would suspect. The calendar with the least disruption would be the one that starts after Labor Day. Thank you for considering my comments. Sincerely, Gretchen Ricks. And finally, we're still loading. We are still loading. It's a continuous. So, Sarah Locke, Coda Road. Good evening. I've heard rumblings that it's almost time for emailed public comments to come to an end, and want to encourage the board to consider permanently allowing this practice to continue. There are countless reasons that parents and the public may be unable to attend meetings in person, but their voices should still be heard. Ending emailed comments will disproportionately affect the community members of limited means, those with non-standard work hours, and single parents struggling with childcare. Regardless of an individual's personal circumstances, they deserve as much of a voice as others who are able to attend in person. Sarah Locke. And then one more thing. Thank you to Shannon and Cinda for your commitment to the community at your last meeting. I can't put into words my appreciation for Cinda's involvement in helping me through a very difficult situation for my daughter's benefit. You will be missed. Sarah Locke. And we are caught up.
Okay. We'll move on to item number 3, which is recognitions.
We do not have any recognitions this evening.
Okay. And then item number 4, the informational updates, the superintendent update.
Yes, thank you, and good evening, everyone. Want to say thank you to the Thorntons Ferry staff for conducting a wonderful sunflower project where the students and staff created artwork and sunflowers to send peace and hope to the children from Ukraine who are now displaced and living in Poland. Joanna Langworthy, a parent of a kindergarten student at Thorntons Ferry, brought the project idea to the school and in fact is paying for all of the artwork to be sent to Poland. Mrs. Vians, the art teacher, along with Fern Seiden, created this amazing service opportunity for students. I want to congratulate, first of all of our staff and our administrators, but this week happens to be National Assistant Principals Week. And so my congratulations and thanks to our dedicated assistant principals who work day in and day out with our very hardworking principals. And I recognize Rich Sampieri, Pete Bergeron, Nicole O'Brien, Nikki Rowe, Laura Livy, Alicia Hanson-Prue, and Michaela Champlin. We thank you for everything you do as part of our leadership team. At the high school had 23 New Hampshire Scholastic Art Award winners, which is incredible. Our 5 Gold Key winning works then moved on to the National Scholastic Arts level, and we are extraordinarily excited to say that Josephine Redding's handmade photograph won a National Silver Key. So congratulations, Josephine, just an outstanding accomplishment. The high school robotics team won the Chairman's Award at the last robotics competition in Durham, New Hampshire. The Chairman's Award is the top award, and it recognizes not only success in engineering, but also all the community outreach and other activities that a team does. It's a huge honor and a prestigious award, so we want to congratulate them. And let me see. Also from the high school, there are 70 students who have earned and are currently earning 3 free college credits from New Hampshire Community College, which are transferable to any college or university, and 23 of our students at the high school have earned or are in the process of earning 3 college credits to Southern New Hampshire University for only $100, and those credits are transferable also to any college or university. The students are currently enrolled in courses of Introduction to Sports, Introduction to Business, Principles of Marketing, and Principles of Management. So can't be more proud of our students and our staff. Always wonderful things occurring. I want to wish those running for election very good luck. It's a lot of work, and it's even more work on the other side of it if you are, in fact, elected. And as Naomi said, there's an extraordinary amount of work that goes into being a school board member. I know Cinder and Shannon, this is your last meeting of hundreds of meetings. I don't think people realize the degree of dedication and commitment, the degree of sacrifice, night after night after night after night, and sometimes weekends, certainly, all for the good of our students, our staff, and residents. Sometimes making very difficult decisions, as you always have to, particularly over the last 2 years, where there was so much acrimony across the entire nation. But we tried to focus on how to keep students and staff in school, how to keep them safe. You didn't waver at all, and you, throughout the entire process, kept a commitment to students and staff and their well-being. There are a lot of other things that you could be doing 2 Monday nights every month, and then additional board meetings, weekend commitments. But you've chosen for many, many years, and the 2 of you have put in about as much service as any board members that I can ever recall, whether it's the Massachusetts school committees that I worked for 51 years, or now this year with you. And so with that, your colleagues on the school board and the administration would like to present you, Cinda, and Shannon with a plaque that says, "In recognition and appreciation," and I do mean appreciation, "of your outstanding service representing the students, staff, and residents of Merrimack on the Merrimack School Board. Cinda from 2014 to 2022, and Shannon from 2010 to 2022. From our bottom of our hearts, thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill. So my good friend Chuck Mower gave me some really good advice once, and he said, "It's never about who they are, it's always about who we are." As school board members, we must always reflect on our own core values and remember that we're here for our community and our students. Together, we have grown as a board to be reflective and mindful. Cinda and Shannon have worked to increase technology across our district. They've increased teachers' awareness of digital tools to facilitate learning, a critical component during COVID-19. They are very successful in their work to promote interventions and support through social and emotional learning. Our district has made great gains under their leadership. As a board, we're working to create a comprehensive intervention system that reinforces support strategies, and will continue your vision. They have consistently adopted policies that reflect the highest expectations for student learning. Shannon, she sets the norms for Robert's rules. She's very knowledgeable and she's very consistent in her efforts. She has exceptional negotiation skills. She was the lead negotiator in our current teacher contract. It took moral courage to bring this contract forward. This contract will give us the ability to increase and recruit and retain teachers. It's a game changer for our school district, and it would never have happened without her leadership. Recently, Coach K, everyone who's into basketball, and Duke, he said the reason for his success goes back to recruiting the right players. And as a district, we have to recruit and maintain our teachers, our administrators, and our leaders. So thank you for that. Cinda. Cinda was the chair during some of the most challenging times, COVID-19, where many school board meetings across the nation ended with arrest or violence or angry outburst. She maintained a calm, warm, inviting approach. She demonstrated professionalism at all times. We cannot thank her enough for working to bring people together when, as a country, we were divided. Winston Churchill said, "Courage is grace under fire. It's not the absence of fear." Cinda led us at all times and was respectful. And I'm 100% confident we're in a better place today. And I hope and I know we will continue to make Merrimack the best place to educate your children. So thank you very much to both of you.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you very much, and that was very nice of Mr. Moore and for you to read. And I just want to echo that I've known both Cinda and Shannon since 2005 when I began in Merrimack as parents. Their children went through Reed's Ferry School, and you have been always remarkable parents and remarkable members of this community, and it has been such an honor to work with you this year, and I just really appreciate it, and thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your dedication, and just hope that you just, as sad as it is to leave, that you find all this time to devote yourselves in other areas, so thank you. I just want to share on the curriculum update portion of this meeting that we had our second visioning task force meeting, which was held live from 3 to 5. At JMU's, we have 30 participants. Those include students, parents, school board member, community members, administrators, teachers. And it's a very, very fun group. Everyone was charged with going out to interview somebody who was kind of representative of their cohort. So if you're a parent, go interview parents, students interviewed students, educators were interviewing educators. And I just want to just take a moment, if I can, just to read 3 of the quotes, because we've obtained lots of really wonderful quotes from these constituents. And we're also going to continue to gather more feedback from the community. So in the words of a student, educational experiences that help create that quality and others like it are teachers who create a comfortable environment where they interact with their students, and every day is a little different than the day before. From a parent, education is more than academic scores. It is critical thinking. Success does not mean high SAT scores or going to college. It is respecting that there are many pathways for students to take. And from an educator, I think it's important that students can connect with their teachers and understand that what they're learning is beneficial in the real world. So our goal is to take these quotes and to put them online and to develop a communication task force that will attempt to capture this journey as we go through it, and we create the vision of a learner, pre-K through 12, as well as a mission statement and the beginning of a strategic plan for the district. And we want to make sure that this journey is recognized, because right now we're very much in the research stage of just learning more about what it means to create a vision, what are the communities at large, what do they see as important critical skills for students, and how we can try to capture all of that information that we gather and put it into something that's really comprehensive and comprehensible. So what we realized was that we still have some work to do, because even though we have over 100 responses in our interviews, we really want to make sure that we're going out to people that we may not have reached that might be underrepresented. So we have one task force subcommittee that's going out and going to be interviewing certain student bodies, whether they be athletes or musicians or ELL students, or, we'll just really try to reach more broadly, and likewise reach more broadly into the community to get parent input. And then eventually we have this really beautiful summation of the data that we've collected that's in pie charts that's showing what are the words that are most prominent that are showing up, and what are the skill sets that are most prominent that are showing up. And that will help us guide so that we're achieving sort of a non-biased approach to this, and that it's truly representative of Merrimack.
Any questions? Okay. Assistant Superintendent for Business Update.
Thank you. I believe last time we met, I was asked to give an update on the progress of the concession stand behind the high school next to the track by a bunch of terrific individuals, Dr. Wolf, and a lot of people who are volunteering their time and effort in this community. The old concession stand, if not late last week, then this week, is going to be removed. Dr. Wolf got the final permit from the town. There's a holding tank. It's a 1,000-gallon holding tank for the gray water, just for the sinks. And that's been approved. AB Septic worked with us. We signed the paperwork that had to be filed with the state of New Hampshire DES. We have approval, so that's going to be going in shortly. We have to move some irrigation and some electrical, and then once we get all the final permits, CSSI is going to be doing the pad that the new concession stand is going to rest on, in conjunction with the plumber and the electrician, probably by the end of April. The concession stand building, the deposit was made by Dr. Wolf on March 28th, and that will be arriving probably around the 1st of August. So there are still some T's to be crossed and some I's to be dotted. But there is a fundraising effort. I have a brochure here, Laura's World Foundation. There's a QR code on the front of it. These are being circulated. I think we need to put this on our website too. These are being circulated in the schools. And if you want to buy, we talked about buying engraved bricks. So if you want to buy a 4x8 engraved brick, just for an example, this says, John Smith, best dad ever, the Smith family. I know John Smith. He's a good dad. So that's a good thing to have on there, right? And then you have Jane Smith, college graduate, first class honors, July 28th, whatever. That's an 8x8 one. That's $100. So there's a $50 option, a $100 option, and they're taking credit card, PayPal, and everything like that. And you go to a specific site to put your order in and get your engraving done, and all the engraving will be proofed and make sure it's appropriate before it's placed in the site, obviously. So things are going well. It's going to be, that building, I don't know how many years it's been there quite a few. And it was a great effort by the parents or the Booster Club or however it came to fruition. I'm not really quite sure because it's always been there. And now it's time for a major upgrade as we have upgraded the track. Shannon, you remember this years ago. We put an 8-lane straight. We did the entire track. We put the big retaining wall up. We put another set of bleachers. And when I first got here, there was no lights back there, right? There was no lights on the football field at all. And so that was a lot of years ago. So there's a lot of capital effort that has gone into that field over the years. And this is really kind of going to cap it off and I think just make it look really nice and give the students a sense of pride and value because the community, and this truly is a community effort, values them and feels it's appropriate to put their time and energy and a lot of energy into this endeavor. And we thank the Wolf family and everybody else associated with it, including, Sean Powers from Remove the Mystery, their company in town, and great people to work with, and just a great, terrific effort, and a kind of a shining example of what this community can do when they all kind of pull together in a common goal for something that's a worthy cause. So that's my brief update. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. Questions? I just wanted to make a comment. Laura's World Fund is an amazing nonprofit, and the legacy of Laura Wolf, who I never met, but I understand was a very beautiful young woman who was taken too soon. So the Wolf family are very generous and amazing with this community, and so certainly we appreciate everything that they're doing. They also have donated a playground to a school that my family and I donate. We sponsor 2 children at a school in Ethiopia, and the Wolf family and Laura's World Fund have donated the playground to that particular school as well. So that's how I first got to know them quite a few years ago. So I would ask maybe if we can, put another reminder out on our Facebook page and stuff regarding, the bricks that help offset, some of that fundraising. But it's really going to be a great addition to that area outside, and we're very grateful, for the foundation for that contribution.
We shall do that. Thank you.
Thank you. School board update. I do not have an update. Student rep update.
I do not have an update.
Okay. Moving on to old business, the approval of the 2022-2023 school year calendar.
Thank you. Last meeting, we presented a report about the development of the school calendar, all of the considerations that go into it, a survey of the parents and the staff. And I will be recommending to you, and the committee recommends, the calendar committee, to adopt the calendar that begins before Labor Day. And I understand there are lots of family traditions of family vacations and starting after Labor Day. But I do think that those days certainly, at the beginning of the fall, the end of the summer, are more productive in terms of learning than the days as we proceed later in June. And I believe it's in the best interest of students. They're ready to return to school. We're ready to receive them and start teaching and learning. And so I'll be glad to answer any questions. But the committee's recommendation is that you adopt the school calendar that begins prior to Labor Day.
Do we need a motion?
Motion?
I make a motion that we accept the before Labor Day draft for the Merrimack School District for the 2022-2023 school year.
Do I have a second?
I'll second for discussion.
Okay, for discussion? Any discussion? Shannon?
The one thing I think we need to look at, and we have been doing this for a long time, that this calendar represents a lot of half-day workshops. And we went away from that because of the disruptive nature that they bring to families. Actually, when I first got on the board, they were happening on like a Tuesday. I really think that there needs to be an evaluation at the end of the year to see if, A, not having a focused get-ready period was as impactful as random scattered days throughout the year. I really, that was what August Academy was all about, was get them ready, focused, dive into what you're trying to accomplish for the year, get the tools to be able to accomplish those goals, and then get in and get the work done. Not having what I would call a focused, concentrated curriculum is going to be very different. And with that, I'm interested to, see from the outside, obviously, at this point, what that will do for the curriculum that you can deliver as well. So that's, I think, going to be very important to consider as you're looking at this. So I will be supporting this motion, not just for the sake of discussion, but wanted to have it. Because really, I think that there are definitely pros and cons to each of those, for families. But when it comes down to what's going to give the bang for the buck as far as the curriculum that you can deliver to get teachers and support staff ready for the first day of school. And I'm looking at our technology director who's here today and getting them ready for any new technology rollouts, that kind of thing, having more of an orientation to it before the first day of school. You're not going to have that time. So that's one example I'm thinking of. But I really think that it was done for a reason a long time ago. But with that said, as needs might be changing, not only do I think you need to take a look at what you can deliver, but then go back to families and say, how did this structure of random school days throughout the year, being half days or no school, disrupt your vacations? Because normal, lay people like us, we're lucky if we get 3 weeks to start a job. Most companies give 2 weeks to start a job for vacation. The basic holidays that we all get off. And some of them don't even get that off. So, what does that do for the time off that they can spend with their families when they have to chop it all up to use them for half days to cover their kids? Because daycares may not take just the random half day. Because, they're definitely doing a run rate business for obvious reasons. So, with all that said, give it the year, but consider what it means at the end of the year. Take a real dive into how it affects, families and staff and what you really got to accomplish.
We will gladly do
So you
that.
got to call the vote.
And I will also be supporting it. The primary reason that I'll be supporting is it aligns with the survey that was given to our district families. And as I said, I think at our last meeting, there's a reason to give a survey, is to respect the survey and respect the feedback. So I will be supporting it for that reason, primarily again. So any other comment, Lori? Any comments? No.
I have a comment, Cinda.
Okay, Lori Peters.
I would also add to what you said, Cinda, that the teachers and staff also overwhelmingly supported the schedule, knowing exactly what they're going to have to do to be ready to get out of the gate on the 31st of August. And so along with the families, I know it's not going to make everyone 100% happy, but with the majority of the families and the staff and faculty, I'll be supporting the calendar.
Thank you, Lori. All right, Lori Peters, how do you vote?
In favor.
And Board Member Shannon Barnes?
In favor.
Vice Chair
In
Rothaus?
favor.
And I vote in favor. That carries 5-0-0.
Thank you very much.
Next, we are moving on to item number 6, which is new business. And I'm really looking forward to this very exciting part of our meeting. And that is the proposed Eagle Scout project, friendship benches at the Reeves Ferry Elementary School. Chase Warren and Bonnie Fichard. No, I'm sorry, Chase, yes, thanks. Welcome.
Hello, my name is Chase Morin. I'm currently a senior at Merrimack High School, and I'm also active in Troop 401, which is based right here out of Merrimack, New Hampshire. And first of all, I would like to thank the school board for giving me this opportunity to come and present today, as I'm on a bit of a time crunch to get this project done, so I appreciate you guys putting me on the docket for tonight. So just for a basic overview and some background on my project, I'm going to be building a friendship sort of seating area on the 3rd and 4th grade playground at Reeds Ferry Elementary School. And for some background why I wanted to do this project, I attended Reeds Ferry as an elementary school student, so I kind of wanted to give back to Reeds Ferry as it was the first school I attended, so it means a lot to me. So the project cost to the school district is going to be $0. I'm going to be funding this project through my own fundraiser, so it's going to be no cost to the school district. And then any ongoing maintenance is just going to be normal playground maintenance, so it's not going to be anything extra. And the estimated date of project work is going to be May 1st through June 30th, so about 2 months. It should only take maximum to complete this project. Some stakeholders, Mrs. Livy, the assistant principal, and Tom Tuso, I've worked with them. He's the maintenance director on getting this project, the details fleshed out. So as for the location, you can see on screen now at the bottom, this is an overhead view. That's Reeds Ferry School at the bottom there on the blacktop. And then in the top right corner of the 3rd and 4th grade playground, there's a red circle, and that's going to be the proposed location of the seating area. So this is another different view of the seating area. So this is an eye level. This is from the ground of a picture I took. So it's going to be in that corner. It's just grass there right now, so it wouldn't be affecting anything. As for the layout of the benches, it's going to be in kind of an upside down U shape. So it's going to be 3 benches total, and they're going to be 18 inches wide and 8 feet long. They're going to be 16 to 18 inches tall, which is a bit shorter than a normal bench, but these are elementary school students, so we want to make sure it accommodates for them and they're not too high. It's going to be mounted to concrete below the ground, so it's going to be a permanent site, so they aren't going to be able to be moved. And the supports are going to be 4x4 pressure-treated wood, and the top is going to be a Trex-like composite material, so it's weatherproof, and there shouldn't be any wood rot that is happening. So that's pretty much all I have to present. So if you guys have any questions, I'm more than welcome to answer them.
Questions, Shannon?
Well, first of all, this is exciting to have it at our table here. I've been on Greater Woods and I've been on Parks and Rec, and we do get a lot of scouts coming through. But this is really special to have it for one of our schools directly. So thank you for thinking of Reeds Ferry and having such fond memories of it. So start with that. When it comes to the work, I have 2 questions. One's about the work. It's May 1st to June 30th. How many days do you think it's actually going to take to do the actual project?
I think only about 2 weekends.
Okay.
But just for like where those weekends are going to be, I just put May and June as
Okay.
like a kind of time frame.
And your fundraisers, are they already scheduled?
It's not scheduled yet, but for what I'm actually going to be doing, I'm going to be doing a car wash, most likely at St. James Church in a weekend coming up in April. So I still have to figure that out, but
Okay, so I knew that was going to come, so that's why I was going to ask. Because this is happening for a school, if we can put something on our website so that families can participate and really kind of encourage families to support that fundraiser, that would be ideal. So if you could just make sure our administration has that in advance, we'll make sure to promote it.
absolutely.
I don't know if you still have the Tigger Times at Reeds Ferry, but maybe something in the Tigger Times. So that would be probably ideal as well. So I think it's great, and this is exactly the kind of effort our kids need. So
Thank you very much. I
thank you.
appreciate it.
Lori?
So welcome, Chase. I love your project. I like that you're going to use the Trex. I just want to really congratulate you, because when you look at Eagle Scouts, you know, when you look at the number of kids who are in Boy Scouts, the number of kids that actually strive and have that commitment and perseverance, it's 4%. But if you look at it as a nation, like all the kids that could be at, it's 0.3%. Like this is an honor that represents who you are. And you're dedicated to make your community a better place. And so congratulations. I can't wait to see it. You know, we'll come over to Reed's Ferry and we will have a seat at the friendship bench. And so congratulations and thank you for being who you are.
Thank you very much.
Go ahead.
Any other comments from the board?
I have a comment.
Okay. Go ahead.
I just want to say, Chase, that I think it's really great that you're doing this and giving back to a school that meant so much to you, but also that you took into consideration the size of kids. I think so often in public accommodation areas, their benches are made for adults, and the fact that you took into consideration that it would be children sitting there and the height, I think that was great foresight on your part and really shows your heart in this project. I look forward to seeing it when it's completed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Did I see any comments over here? Bill?
Well, I just wanted to say that, first of all, congratulations and good luck on your work towards your Eagle Scout. You are already one of America's leaders. And I have to say there's a reason for us to all have great optimism about the future with an outstanding young man like yourself.
Thank you. That means a lot to me.
Yeah, thank you very much. Shannon?
So I move that we approve the proposed Eagle Scout project by Chase Morton, as long as he promises not to break any fingers, because he's a talented percussionist, if I remember correctly.
Seconded by Vice Chair Rothaus. Any other comments? Lori Peters, how do you vote?
In favor.
Shannon Barnes?
In favor.
Lori Rothaus?
In favor.
And I vote in favor. That's 4-0-0. Thank you so much, and best of luck with your project. And please do keep us posted of your fundraising efforts so that we can be sure to stop by, because my car needs a car wash. I can tell you that.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a nice
Thank
evening.
you, Chase.
You too.
Next up on new business is the summary of technology efforts and future projects. Jason Pelletier. Welcome.
Oh, there we go. Thanks for having me, everybody. I've been here for 3 months already, and Merrimack really is it's a special place. The students, the teachers, the buildings, the administrators, just like the character of everything, right, is definitely unique, and it's been a privilege being here, and through my time here, really trying to dig in, try to see what's in the classrooms, talk with administrators, see what the process is, has been really enlightening, and it's been a lot of fun. When I start going into these slides, I want to just make sure that everybody knows. So we're going to start talking a little bit about things that we want to do for the future in ingraining technology, but there's also in no way that we're going to stop supporting what the great things that are happening already in the classroom. So even though if some of these practices that we're talking about aren't happening, that doesn't mean that they're not good practices or they're not helpful, right? So when in this picture up here, what do we see, right? We see students gathered together, working together. We see a couple of screens. There's some TVs on one side. There's an interactive panel on the middle. But really what we're seeing here is students really taking charge of their learning. We have collaboration groups. We have them working in teams, and they're kind of working in this picture a lot like how some people work in the real world already, right? And in this picture, this isn't a picture of a library in Merrimack, but it doesn't mean that it can't be, right? And everything that's happening in here, some of the stuff is already happening in our schools, and we want to kind of foster the growth of that. Keep in mind that students nowadays, they go and immerse themselves and they interact with their surroundings and their society through technology. We have a lot of students that do still, they're involved in sports and nature and everything, but really at the end of the day, this is how they've grown up. This is how they learn. This is how they interact. So really leveraging the ways that they do that is very important. And we want to help foster that and grow that so that they can go and be very successful for the things that are going to happen in the future. When I talk about that, I usually use the term ingraining meaningful use of technology in the classroom. We want technology to not just be a device. We don't want it to be the shiny thing in the room. We want it to be an all-encompassing piece. And sometimes the hardest things to make that happen are resources, but Merrimack already has a lot of excellent resources at our fingertips already. We have unbelievable teachers. We have digital learning specialists. We have library media specialists. And we do have some resources that the town of Merrimack has provided us, especially through COVID and through all of the support that they've given us throughout the years. Now we want to take that and move that forward. What are the things that really helps to ingrain meaningful use of technology is creating a flexible classroom spaces, both physical and digital, and making those classrooms not necessarily have to be within those four walls. There's some amazing technology that can be used inside the classroom, and there's things that they can do to transport themselves outside. There's also the teachers, right? So we want to build teacher capacity and skill sets to deliver purposeful, immersive, and impactful lessons using the appropriate educational technology resources. So keep in mind, like, teachers are masters of their craft, right? But think about some teachers, and this is young teachers through older teachers. This isn't an age thing. When they were in school and they had technology that was modeled to them in school, look at it today. It's completely different. And also look at what they've learned in school, in college, and through their certifications. It's still different. So as this technology changes and changes and changes, so having the ability to give them professional development and resources and ways to incorporate how to teach with technology and how to reach the students and how to apply it meaningfully so that those students can then translate that to the real world is very important. A very useful technique that is going to be helpful for them outside of the classroom is to use technology to solve real-world problems and problems of the future. So let's talk about technology for a second, how I just talked about how it's been changing so much. Our students need to be prepared to thrive in that world, the world where technology is always changing, and they need to build knowledge by exploring real issues and problems. That's how they really transfer their learning out in the real world. That's how we know that they really learned in the classroom. And also, that's what they're going to be doing when they're out in the real world. So we're preparing them. And we can do that by fostering a model of technology use that promotes problem solving, critical thinking, collaboration, creation, a lot of those executive functioning skills, a lot of those soft skills that all of we hear over and over again from employers. We need more people that have these skills. And we want to foster that, and we want them to be able to explore and create and collaborate, all of those nice pieces, and just kind of make that second nature. And then we also want to promote connecting with the community to solve problems locally and globally. This will teach them how to really make a difference and how to communicate from different sides of the globe, and also how to see things from different perspectives and different lenses. And that's really how a lot of change can happen, a lot of good, positive change. So how can we achieve all of this? One big piece is investing in our teachers, and we want to give them purposeful support and training to prepare our students for the best possible ways for the future. One nice thing is that we still have a lot of these nice resources in district. We can leverage the expertise of our digital learning specialists and our library media specialists to help promote the skills needed K through 12 for them to be college and career ready. So when we talk about a digital learning specialist, a lot of people, and a library media specialist, sometimes people don't really understand what that means. And a DLS is actually certified and has been trained for critical thinking, problem solving, digital literacy, creation, and coaching the teachers, right? All of our teachers deserve great coaches, and our DLSs can do that in the classroom. They help teach the teachers, and then the teachers help teach the students. And we're working on ways that we can free them up to be in the classroom more and be more impactful and work together with the school community. Also with our library media specialists, they're certified and they are experts in enhancing critical research skills and information literacy. They support becoming a lifelong learner, and they are that connection to build, to connect the community and the world. The other thing that is very important when we talk about technology is we need to be able to make sure that it's up to date, that it works, that it's efficient, and we want to make sure that it's also, we're being fiscally responsible when we're doing that. If technology is out of date, if it doesn't work, if it's not kept, if it's not taken care of, then it's not reliable. And in order to really teach these kids and for the teachers to feel confident, and we need them to trust that technology. We need to make sure that when they come into the classroom, that technology is on and working. So what we're working on right now is a 4-year plan to make sure that we cycle technology properly, and so that it's always up to date and that it's going to be on, it's going to work, and we're working with the technicians and working with other stakeholders on making sure that we can be more responsive and that we can do that within a budget. One thing that we've already started doing that kind of goes along with this is we signed a contract for next year for all of the connectivity between buildings, and we've increased it significantly. We increased the internet coming out of the high school significantly, and we were able to do all of that with actually doing it cheaper than it was this year. So we're really looking forward to that. Matt Chevenel was a huge help with that as well. So when we want us to do these projects, we want you guys to know what we're doing. We don't want it to be a shock to the budget, to the community members, and everything like that transparency piece. So before I close, just thank you again, everybody, and I appreciate it. And again, 3 months here, and it's been an amazing, amazing experience, and we're looking forward to working together. All of the building, the administrators, everybody have been amazing. The teachers have been amazing, and I've had a lot of side conversations with people, and they get really excited and they want to do these things. Again, there's things in the classroom that aren't necessarily what I spoke about here, but we're still here to support all of them, and we're here to support good teachers, and that's what we have. And our students are benefits of that, and the students have been amazing as well. So thank you again for having me, and if you have any questions, feel free.
Thank you. And before I start taking questions, I just wanted, for the record, to let everyone know that Board Member Peters had to sign off at 7:50 p.m. So we will continue the meeting without her, but she is, of course, excused, for the remainder of the meeting. I see Lori Rothaus. You have questions?
Just comments. So thank you for your presentation tonight. I think it's interesting as we try to prepare our students to be college and career ready, the jobs of the future haven't even been created yet. So you have quite the job ahead of you, and we appreciate the work you're doing.
Thank you.
Questions? How about Shannon?
I know that a lot of what we've been able to do the last couple of years came from federal grants. ESSER funding. I don't think we used ECF in our district from what I could see in my research. But that's the connectivity fund, the emergency connectivity fund. But with that, the biggest thing I think that's going to be important for the district to keep an eye on. Not only, I'm glad we're getting stuff at lower cost, which is, being able to do that, but the cost of materials, the demand for expansion is not going to end. But the programs that helped us get where we are today, to have that footprint of technology, especially with all the devices we brought in, that are even in use every day with every child in the classroom on our network, that just always has to be something that we're mindful of in budgeting. And that when you see the high sticker shock, progress will come at a price. So, as you're going to prepare your first budget, in the fall, that's going to be, I think, a big thing that's going to be the details of what the supply and demand are for those kind of things is going to be important. But having presentations like tonight's are going to help to kind of lay the groundwork for what your needs are, what you're trying to accomplish. And so your timing is excellent to start the conversation. But it can't stop. Because, a notebook is $1. A real notebook that every kid's using every day is $1,000. Or maybe $500, say. But to that end, you're always going to have that recurring cost going forward. I'd say 20% of your devices will come back, and you're going to have to replace them. And then there are those that are going to need some repair on top of that. And I think you've made great use of old technology, but you're not going to be able to use that forever either. So with that, I think just taking a refocus during budgeting season, I know, Matt, you're going to be able to help along very well with that, but keeping that conversation going is going to be so important, so that when those asks come, it comes with a story about what it's going to do. And I think this is a great start. But just definitely don't want the next time to be during budget season when you bring the price tag with it. So I'll keep an eye for my house. But I wish you luck in your new role. You've done great research in 3 months and got a lot of stuff done really quickly. So I look forward to all your success in this role.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And thank you. I echoed the comments, and a couple of things. It's commendable to get started. Really, the transparency is very much appreciated to really start to prepare for the next budget season, which, as we all know, comes quicker than we think. Every time we make another lap around the year, and so to start now, even before September, is really good to kind of get that out, not only to the board but to the public on where you see that vision going is commendable. And thank you for your presentation in our board packet. Sometimes we get them, sometimes we don't, but it is really helpful to get it and be able to review it in advance. And so I just wanted to give you some kudos for that too, and let you know that that's appreciated. But best of luck. I'm hearing nothing but good things about the work you're doing in the district, and really glad to have you on the staff and as part of the leadership team altogether, are part of the administration and such. So I thank you very much.
Thank you.
If you wouldn't mind, could I just say one thing? I want to say I'm really excited working with Jason. We have already had budget conversations. That's correct, right? Spirited budget conversations. Because, when you got to a certain level because of the infusion of the ESSER funds, and we brought us basically up to a 1-to-1, there's no way we're going to allow that to regress. So those ESSER funds are going to be available for the near future for maybe a few $100,000. But what we want to do is bring this back onto the capital improvement plan to give it some greater visibility, because we put it on there to get it going. And Jason doesn't know the history of this. I talked to him a little bit. And then we kind of took it off because it was regular operating costs. Then we had to go remote. So we had to ramp up the machines. We bought them anywhere we could get them. And now we're at a certain level of expectation. So there's no way we can allow this to go backwards. And so we're going to have to come up with a measured plan that I want to put, and I think Jason even said that to me, we need to put this on the capital improvement plan and give it its visibility and show everybody the importance of maintaining the infrastructure we have. And don't underestimate that little piece that he said about the bandwidth increasing considerably. That was a considerable increase that he worked out with one of our many vendors that we deal with that actually cost us less but gave us exponentially more bandwidth. But there's other things we need to do in order to get the bandwidth into the classroom. So it's all going to be coming about, and we've been talking about budget, and I'm glad he's here. It's a pleasure working with him, and he's definitely a wealth of knowledge as far as technology is concerned, and we're better off for him being in our employ. So.
Well, in the advancements of the technology in this district since my children were first at Reed's Ferry, one just graduated last year, and I've got 2 more years. My younger one is a sophomore, and the advancements have been phenomenal. I mean, it's been a concerted effort, a joint effort. Your predecessor, Nancy Rose, did a tremendous job of, bringing about so many of those advancements. So it's really great. You could take all of that, move forward with a vision, and the transparency. I think it's really puts our district in a really great spot. So thank you.
Thank you. And I agree, yeah, Nancy laid a lot of this groundwork to make, when I go and I talk about those resources put in place, she did a great job. And thank you, Cinda and Shannon, for your service as well.
You bet. Have a nice evening.
You too, thank you.
Next up is the curriculum overview. Kim Yarlett.
Thank you. I have been working very closely with Jason. We meet weekly because you can't have technology in the absence of curriculum assessment instruction. So we are very tethered to a lot of different projects and really think that's very, very important. So for this evening, what I wanted to do is I want to just give you a teaser. And what you see on the screen is the product that we bought to build our curriculum that we're in the process of building. And I just thought that we could just walk you through a little bit about what this looks like. And I also want you to know that in my eventual departure, I've been training up administrators, and Jason's been attending curriculum meetings along with myself and working with administrators to make sure that there's an administrator on every content area, curriculum revision or rewrite. So this is really, really exciting. So I just want to show you this magical tool that we've been working with. It's really a lot of fun. So what you see right now, if I can just draw your attention to the actual platform itself as opposed to the outcome that you might have in front of you, is I just wanted to let you know how it is that how we're going about building this curriculum. So this is, we have social studies working really actively right now to be writing the curriculum, some of which has been written but didn't include the 3 C's for sort of a more of a broader scope of what social studies content should look like K through 12. So what we do here is we call up this template. We have writers and authors, and there are 3 stages for this. And we have an overview. If you want to scroll down underneath that, there's the focus of the unit, which is my school and my family and what is a community, and then prior learning that this is a kindergarten student you might want to be sure or ensure or pre-teach who are the people in your family and who are the people in your school, since that's part of what the curriculum is going to cover. So this is a very basic, level for social studies development. So then we do is we go to stage 1, which is the learning goals. And if you can see one of the powers of this is that you can plug in the standards. You have a code and you have standards. So you have standards that you can look at from all over. They've already been preloaded into this software. So we chose at the very top, we chose the framework for social studies state standards, the social studies K standards, and the 3C standards?
Correct, C3 framework.
And the C3, the C3 framework for social studies state standards. So what you do is you end up with this huge menu of standards, and you simply go through and you click the ones that apply. And Lori, you would really appreciate this. And clicking the ones that apply, those are going to be the ones that are going to eventually, if this was the 10th, 11th, 12th grade, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade curriculum, you would highlight the ones that you would want to build competencies around. So you're going to say that this is a standard that you're going to cover in the content, but then you're going to say that this is a reporting standard, a standard that you're going to report on. So then, if you scroll down, you go to other goals, and then part of any really good understanding by design curriculum mapping is that you come up with long-term transfer goals. So an example of a long-term transfer goal for kindergarten is, and that's kind of a big overarching goal, is students will understand how rules shape democracy, students will understand why rules are important in a society, and students will know how their actions and decisions impact themselves and others. And then, again, part of a UBD design framework is having the essential understandings and the essential questions. So this, for an example, would be the essential question: what is the purpose of rules and how do they keep us safe? Who are the important figures in my school and what are their roles? What does it mean to be a good citizen? So this is, the teachers on the committee are building these essential questions. They're not coming from a pull-down menu. So that it is very generic and unique to Merrimack's building of and writing of their curriculum. It's not, these are not pre-written understandings and essential questions. And this may look like it's a very, very simple statement, or these are simple statements, but in fact, we really do a lot of work with getting people to really dig really deeply when you're looking at enduring understandings. Why is this important in life? Like, what is the thing that's not the thing that you're going to remember you studied in kindergarten, but what is this essential piece that you will bring forward in your life? So again, it's about good citizenship and the purpose of rules. And then again, these are under the standards that that apply to ethics and government. So these are written by the teachers, by the educators. We've been working on this the last month. And then the teachers and the curriculum builders then go down to what's the knowledge and what are the knowledge and what are the skills. And again, these are not pre-written statements. These are statements that the teams really work collaboratively with to determine, and that we're making sure all the time when you're picking out the knowledge and the skills and the understandings that it goes directly back to the essential questions and to the standards. And then, and part of what the kindergarten team would do next is to highlight the standards that they want to be, which are the ELCs, the essential learning competencies. And this is where this gets really nice, is because what happens next in level 2 is you start to build the assessment evidence. So the essential, so you can see right at the very top is performance tasks. So all of these standards that we identify as the essential learning competencies, whether it be the competencies at the high school or at kindergarten, it doesn't matter. The teachers are going to work together to build the performance tasks. And the nice thing about this, the beautiful thing about this, is that it'll be the same for students in grade 6 across the board, as opposed to being just a particular teacher. So there'll be common performance tasks and assessments that we're going to build into this product. And then we haven't gotten to this part of it because we've just been working on it, but we're having a lot of fun with it. The last piece would be the learning plan, and that's where teachers will build specific lesson plans that they'd like to have, or learning activities. And again, those might be common, or those might be a little bit different depending on the teacher and their stylistically. But the one thing we can do with this is have a guaranteed curriculum by really focusing on stage 1 and stage 2, guaranteed curriculum and guaranteed assessment processes. So then what I wanted to do as this part of this tickler is to show you what all content curriculum will look like. And it's going to be the same for everything, so we're not going to have theme and variation between all the different social studies, science, ELA, math. So when we click this export to the PDF, this is where we get this very flashy document that we will upload to our website, and all parents, community will be able to see this. This will be our guaranteed viable curriculum, and everything is going to look the same with this presentation. Again, you're seeing a very, very, very draft, cursory presentation of this, but I just wanted to let you know when I keep talking about we're doing the curriculum. So you can see these standards here that they have the highlights. Those were going to be the ones that we'll build the assessments for. But we really are having a lot of fun with this, and the teachers are working really hard, the administrators are working hard, and we're building capacity so that this can be living into perpetuity over the next 2 years, 2 to 3 years, so that we can get every single content area uploaded into this type of format. Anything to add?
Yeah, it's been great to actually see this process, because a lot of times you put that book away and then you probably don't look at it for a very long time. Yeah. So going through this practice has been really helpful, because you kind of recall some of these skills, and then you kind of make your brain, like, what are we really looking for here? Like, what are those transfer goals? What are those ELCs and whatnot? So that practice has been wonderful, and we can take this and transfer this to any type of format. It's all digital, so we can put it on websites. We can print it if we need to. We can make CSVs of it. However we want to do it, we can play with this data simply and easily. We can modify this. We can move things up and down. So what it does too is, especially after talking with the teachers and how they did it before, they're like, this saves us so much time once they get going, right? And that's wonderful too. So it makes it nice it's clean, it's standard across the board, but it's also making things easier for people as well.
And this is we're the only district in New England, the closest district, a school in Connecticut to us, who is using this product and building this based on Jay McTighe's Understanding by Design. This is just so great. It's so worthwhile. And again, I agree with you. People don't even know where to find their curriculum in the binders. There's a lot of work that has to be done with updating. So any questions or comments?
Questions? Shannon?
More of a comment. I'm glad that you talked about how it ties into UBD, Understanding by Design, because, again, it's like how each learner is going to be measured and goaled, and how the content and how it's going to, it's going to get you there. And again, this is going up on the website, so every parent can look at every chapter and see what their child is to get out of it, before it's delivered, of course. So how far in advance will these go up, be available for parents? Are you going to do like the year at a glance? Will it connect with the calendar, so parents can see kind of when their kids are learning and going to be learning some of these things, so they can kind of put the pieces together?
We can look at the design of that. So right now we have our science curriculum has been updated, our PE curriculum has been updated, and our math curriculum has been updated. And I'm working with the vendors and Jason so that we can take that curriculum that was done, and it's good curriculum, but we can update it to this template.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll be sort of the first on the website to display, and I'd like to have them get up there as we build them. But in terms of how does the end product look like, in terms of scope and sequence, we can talk about that, for parents. Do you want to see the trajectory, or do you want to see the content? So we're still at the very beginning.
Gotcha. Because again, I look at this and tying it together and having a calendar to know. Parents are wondering when their kids are falling behind, how far behind they're falling, because we know what kind of stress that will put on the child and impact the learning. So I kind of look at where it could all tie in. So that is exactly putting the pieces together where a parent can look and get a snapshot of where they're at, where their kid should be, and where their kid might have a delta. I think is going to be huge. Or if their kid has kind of mastered those kind of things, and do they need enhancements just to stay engaged? Mm-hmm. So again, that intervention or extension that they need, this is going to give them that roadmap to help best advocate for their child as well.
Yeah, and we're working with the health right now at the high school level. We're looking at plotting them into quarters,
mm-hmm.
and this one's a first unit for kindergarten. So that's great feedback.
Great, thank you.
Lori Rothaus.
So this is really good work, because it asks all the essential questions. What do we want our students to know and learn? How are we going to measure it? There's goals, there's understanding, there's knowledge, there's skills, and there's assessment. It's all the things we ask for. So I think it's good job.
Yeah, and thank you also for including this in our packet. And I'm super excited. I echo, what I heard from Shannon and Lori, and, I'm really excited to see this work and how it progresses, and just kind of, appreciate that sneak preview and kind of the direction, where we're going, and, really grateful. Clearly a lot of work has gone into this already, and certainly a lot more to come, but thanks so much for giving us this update tonight.
So may I just say a word of commendation for Kim, because in the last 8 months, from my observation, she has accomplished more than many people will accomplish in 3 or 4 years. And her work has been absolutely extraordinary, and can't thank her enough.
It's true. It's very true.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a confession, but I slipped a little note over to him and I said, I'm so sad she's leaving at the end of the year. And just really grateful for the leadership that you've, put forth in the direction to pull so much together, in really the short time you've been in your role. So I wholeheartly agree with you, Bill.
If I could just piggyback on Bill just for a brief second.
It's a love fest
This,
tonight.
well, it's more than that. When I look at this, and we interviewed vendors who went through the process, everything like that. Jason was there, Kim was there. We had a bunch of teams. She had a team. We looked at all the vendors and everything like that. And we came up with this, and we looked at this and the format and how clean it was and how easy it was to navigate. And then it's just not easy to navigate. It has a lot of depth and breadth to it. It's just not a superficial kind of thing that's going on here. But to have this all organized in this format and online and out of those binders that are on top of the cabinet, I mean, we went from 0 to 60 in the matter of like a month, and it really is amazing. And she's not going to leave until this is finished, so that's one of the things. But no, I just want to say thank you,
It's
too.
a tall order. All right, thank you. Next is the approval of non-educational survey, the National Youth Tobacco Survey. Bill?
Well, the Joseph Massacola Upper Elementary School is one of 550 schools that have been selected in the nation to participate in the CDC-sponsored National Youth Tobacco Survey. This is a survey that will be administered to a couple of classes in grade 6. Takes about 25 minutes, is done online. The administration of it, if you approve it, will take place before May 31st. Participating schools receive a $500 donation to the school. Quite honestly, I'm a little bit ambivalent about this one because, the Youth Risk Behavior Survey, which is conducted about every 2 years, essentially assesses information that's similar to what this survey will, but I will leave that to your discretion in terms of whether or not you'd like to participate. It's probably the most comprehensive source of data for the CDC to develop policy about tobacco use and behaviors in children in grades 6 through 12 in the nation. So it will require your approval, and according to the New Hampshire statute, it would require a parental approval for participation by the child also.
Lori?
So I think we should participate. I know in the past, the district had, a committee, a project safeguard committee that would look at all the data. They would compare data from from the 2 years past. They would look at trends in data, and then they could make some, changes to the health curriculum or just have more, awareness based on this information. So I think we should do it.
Do I have a motion from you? A motion, Lori?
Yes, I make a motion that we accept the projects, the National Youth Tobacco Survey.
A second by Shannon. Any other discussion? I have none either. So now that Lori Peters is off, we don't have to do roll call. So all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That's a 3-0-0. The motion passes.
Thank you.
Next up is the Merrimack High School senior withdrawals. This was an agenda item requested by Board Member Shannon Barnes. Bill Olson, I'll turn it over to you.
Yes, thank you. We have checked with the high school guidance department, and between September 1st, 2021 and March 25th of this year, 34 seniors have withdrawn from Merrimack High School. Of the 34, about 18 are in some way, shape, or form, or 15, I should say, pursuing a high school equivalency. 3 have moved out of state, and 16 of the 34 have either discontinued the high set, which is an assessment similar to the graduate, the GED, excuse me, and 7 students have simply dropped out. Now, we'll continue to monitor this. We'll meet with the high school staff to see what we can do to keep as many students in school as possible. One of the things that we're looking at for the next, not the upcoming school year, but the following school year, and we will budget appropriately, is an alternative education program at Merrimack High School, and we think that might help.
Shannon.
Yeah, this is good data, and I kind of think some of it, well, some of it's comforting, some of it's not comforting, some of it's misleading. So I looked at the one, and it was students successfully completed the requirement to earn their diploma 8. That shows them as, if there could be a way of like reflecting, because, raw data just shows you numbers dropping. Are these students that they have their diploma in hand from Merrimack High School?
That I would have to follow up on, Shannon,
Right.
and find that out.
So that's the way I look at it. If they're going to graduate at the end of the year, but they made their requirements but haven't gotten their diploma yet, then I would actually probably still call them some kind of enrollment. When it comes to those who looked at the high set, and I look at that, and I like the idea of an alternate education program, because the question I have, and I don't have an answer because I'm not in education for a living, but does that help them, again, for career readiness as much as one of your alternate education diplomas could? So again, we're here for college and career readiness. We're here to get them ready for the outside. And if this alternate diploma will give them a stronger document to navigate themselves outside of school, I think that's something to consider. And I think very strongly, I'm glad you are considering it for the budget for the next cycle. Moving, we can't, housing is crazy, so I understand exactly what that's about. Special education, students aging out, that was one of them. So they basically, that's just a circumstance of the federal government,
Right.
but again, it reflects the numbers. And I don't know if there's a way we can take this data and put like a better, like as you've presented it, we know who we have to work with and who by definition is not at risk. Those who moved out of town, those who got 21 years out of the public education system to maximize their potential, those kind of things. But I like the fact that there's going to be some remediation plans, and then on top of that, some, what we can do to, maybe better define the data, because that was alarming. I mean, 34 students less than when we started the school year was alarming. But when I asked for this agenda item, I did ask to see what was going on throughout the school, because, again, we did have a couple of grades that definitely had some dropped numbers. But are they going to private school? Are they doing homeschool? I know from middle school up, so I believe it's 6th grade, they can even do VLAX, which is home charter school. So, what are they doing? And, why are they choosing that alternative? And maybe it could be a program that we don't offer. So just interested to know what reasons, other than seniors. We want to get our seniors out, but we also want to keep those kids who are part of our community in our school community and give them what they need wherever we can. Not saying we can please 100%, but wherever it's appropriate, that we can. And they're not feeling that they have to do homeschool because they felt they had no choice or something.
We want to make sure that we provide an education that meets the needs of every single student.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's why I think an alternative education program is very important to add to the school district.
Absolutely. And just a thought, because I'm not going to be here, obviously. I got to get it all out of you tonight. But what are you looking for this program? Like, what grades would they start? Would it be, high school? Would it be middle high school? What are your thoughts on that?
Traditionally, Shannon, it's been high school grade levels.
Okay.
But that's open for discussion. And, we have a lot of planning to do. We'll start that this summer so that, or before, so that we're not planning last minute.
Right.
For the budget cycle.
For the budget cycle. Good times. So that's good information. And as I said, it's work to be done, but not 34 kids' work to be done. So thank you for putting this together.
Thanks, Shannon. Lori?
So, high school graduation rates in Merrimack have been a concern for a few years. And when we look at this data, we don't really have all the information because, many of these students nationally, kids have unplugged, they become disengaged, and they're dropping out of high school. So, I would like to see us, take the students that, I think there's like 17 that, possibly still could get a high school diploma. So, create an exit plan, try to figure out, many of them will start working so they can, get 2 credits for working 480 hours, come up with a plan. So they're not really considered a high school dropout till October. So they still have time. Sometimes there's a lot of reasons. There's anxiety, there's depression, there's a lot of reasons why there are students who are dropping out of high school. And today we don't really have the stigma. I mean, there's very bright kids who, for whatever reason, decide to leave high school, but it's temporary. You can always go back to school. You can in New Hampshire. If you were in New York, you're a high school dropout for the rest of your life. There is no way that you can graduate from high school in New York State if you drop out. The only way you can go is you can get your high set, So in New Hampshire, it's never too late. You can be 58 years old and you can decide to get a high school diploma. So we're not quitting. We're going to try to find a different plan and an alternative. So it is disheartening, but it's something we've been talking about for a while, and I look forward to our goals meeting, and I think this will be a top priority.
I just have a quick question, and if you don't have the answer, it's, you can get the answer to me. But I was wondering how many folks within our district do we have, or professionals within our district are trained with high set? And what that looks like from continuing education.
That I actually don't know. I'll have to find that out for you.
Okay, great, thank you. And then I just wanted to just say that I was happy to hear, you talk about alternative high school options, and what I hear that saying is allowing the district to be proactive and not reactive, and really being able to put additional options out there to help the students in our community be able to reach their educational goals. So that's what I heard from that, and that makes me very excited.
Sometimes students come to school with different circumstances in life, and we've learned that one size doesn't necessarily fit all, and so we sometimes need to modify what we do based on what our students exhibit in terms of their needs.
Thank you, and thanks for providing this data for us. The last item under new business is other. Is there any other new business to discuss? All right, moving on to item 7, policies. The second review of administration of federal grant funds policy. Matt?
So I make a motion that we accept the federal grant fund policy DAF.
I just have a point of order. I don't think we have to accept that tonight.
We don't have to read it?
We don't have to read it tonight, and the acceptance would be the third reading,
okay.
Consistent with
On the
prior
consent,
policy.
yeah.
So this, I think, is out here for us if we have any comments.
One more, okay, so we have to wait another.
It's
We have to
too,
change that.
it's too lengthy to be able to read, so it is out and available on the website for folks, but if.
Yes, it is. It was in the board packet materials last time and this time. And just to reiterate, this is for the administration of federal grants. A lot of this dovetails over to what we do with general fund money, so it's more or less the same. It's kind of like all our procedures put into a big policy that I'd rather look at our procedures than look at this policy for understanding's sakes. But, it has like allowability, cash management, fraud control, procurement additional provisions pertinent to food service program, conflicts of interest, inventory management, travel reimbursement, accountability and certifications, time and effort reporting, oversight, grant budget reconciliation, and subrecipient monitoring and management. All of those we have always done over the years. It's just buttoned up in this one policy for federal grants only. And as a side comment, we have a federal funds grant procedure handbook that our auditors help us create probably around 5 or 6 years ago. That's much more easy to get to than the policy, but we need the policy per the state. So we're doing what they tell us to do. So next time, consent agenda, that would be perfect.
Why don't you go ahead and do that? Put that on the consent agenda for the next meeting. If any board members want to pull it before that meeting, they are welcome to do it. I don't see any questions or comments regarding that policy at this time. So moving on to the approval of the minutes, March 7th, 2022, the non-public minutes. I'd like a motion to accept those minutes made by Shannon, second by Lori. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, none. That's 300. I'll entertain a motion for the March 21 public comments made by Shannon, second by Lori. Any changes, additions? Nope. Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed. That's 300 as well. Moving on to the consent agenda. Kim Yarlett.
Thank you very much. We have a list of retirees and also resignations. So we want to thank the following 4 people for their service to the Merrimack School District who have put in for retirement, and that would be Betsy Fowler, Special Ed Coordinator at Thorntons Ferry School, Barbara Burns, longtime kindergarten teacher at Thorntons Ferry School, Deborah Walter, also a longtime teacher in the Merrimack School District. She's at grade 4 right now at Thorntons Ferry School, and Marcel Pope, who is Marcy Pope, who you saw last board meeting, the art teacher at the Merrimack High School.
Do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda made by Shannon, a second by Lori? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I was just going to say, I was going to actually not do that. I was going to make a point of order because we haven't gone through all of it yet.
I'm sorry, the first part of the consent agenda, the educator.
Yeah, so just, I can
Yeah.
usually do the whole thing as a
Okay,
block.
all right,
That's
So I'll carry on?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Job,
So,
Karen.
with the,
Just
keeping me
saying,
on
that's what I was
track.
talking about earlier.
the four resignations, Amanda Woodward, a kindergarten teacher at Thorntons Ferry School, Paul Drone, a health PE teacher at Merrimack High School, Tenna Tangway, a science teacher at Merrimack High School, and Sarah Croto, a library media specialist at Thorntons Ferry School. That concludes retirements and resignations.
Okay, and then also on the consent agenda is the administrator nomination.
Okay, and I'd also like to congratulate Nikki Rowe for her, Nicole Rowe, for her nomination as principal at James Mastercola Upper Elementary School.
And then the approval of vision of a high school graduate, which is on consent.
And the last session, we reviewed the proposed approval of vision of a high school graduate. This pertains to exiting 12th graders and is written in accordance with the NEASC report for the high school, and we had a chance to show you that. So I offer those 4 up. Thank you.
All right. And
Now
then-
I'd like to move the consent agenda as presented.
And do I have a second? Lori Rothaus, motion made by Shannon. All those in favor signify by aye, saying aye, 300. The consent agenda has been approved. Moving on to other committee reports. Shannon.
The New Hampshire School Board Association Board of Directors met on the 23rd of March. Just wanted to let you know that we are, New Hampshire is joining what's been called COSPA, which is a consortium of state school boards association. Based on the fact that a lot of school boards associations around the country withdrew membership, as New Hampshire did from the National School Boards Association, a smaller consortium has formed, and what that's looking to do is get that same advocacy, but give a stronger voice to each state. As you probably can imagine, being New Hampshire, we're used to being the quiet, the little guy that doesn't get the same attention as, say, a Texas or a Massachusetts, based on just its strength in voice, depth of bench, population. So with this, it's going to be a more levelized organization that will help with advocacy, training, really updates on governance from the federal level, things that as state agencies, state school board associations, we can't be necessarily doing the DC pulse every day. So having that kind of a group will give us more advocacy and more coverage. So we are working toward that, and they are meeting to have an inaugural meeting. Actually, I think it happened last week after our board meeting, so in North Carolina. So they're pursuing that membership to give us what we need to get what we need out of DC. And then, of course, we met with our congressional delegation, which we do every year. So we had representatives from Congressman Pappas', Congressman Custer's, Senator Hassan and Senator Shaheen all sent representatives that specialize in education, law, and education advocacy in DC. And really the things that resonated were social emotional learning, making sure that there's no lapse in school lunch programs. We know that that's something that's high at risk now that we're coming out of COVID because it was managed through federal funding, and there was not a lot of, there wasn't any expectation for payment from local. But with that also came the Delta, that we weren't really getting good reporting on that either because the food came. So there wasn't the declaration of things like, establishment of need. So, they are keeping an eye on that, making sure no kid goes hungry as we're getting back on our feet. And so they're working toward those kind of things down in DC. And obviously they are, they're available for us as well. I know after our meeting last year, Representative Pappas came here, saw our water systems. I think Matt got to show our great water systems. But, really talking about what DC can do to help the front lines. It helps them as well to know what it's like in context. So it's always something that's really good for us to have. So, but, and that kind of wrapped it up. That I got a plaque from them too, because I was on that board from 14 to 22. So.
Any committee reports, Laurie? Any committee reports?
Comments?
Committee, okay, seeing none. Correspondence, any correspondence? We did have one correspondence that we had was around the calendar, just the concern for starting before Labor Day. And I did have a variety of several correspondence regarding individual situations that I directed to the appropriate administrators. Any other correspondence? Any correspondence? No. Comments? Lori, and then Shannon.
I have two. First, I was able to represent the school board on a recent interview, and I just really want to thank our HR director. The interview process was extremely organized. There were excellent questions, and I'm really grateful that we have such a competent person in that position, and I think it really reflects well for our district. So a shout out to Melissa for that. And then a final shout out to Cinda and Shannon on their last school board meetings. It's been fun. I mean, it's been wild, but it's a wild ride. We're sliding in, there's some kind of poem about that. We're sliding into home, and it's where we look a little ragged, but we did it. So thank you.
Shannon.
So just want to say thank you to Merrimack for putting your trust in me for 12 years. So worked very hard. Knew I'd be crying tonight. It's ugly cry too. It's like really bad. But thank you for your trust in me, and I hope I served you well.
Thanks, Shannon. And I just have a couple comments as well. I'm not fearful of going to the dentist. In fact, I have an appointment tomorrow. I'm moderately scared of public singing, not doing that tonight, and even more fearful, I think, of a public display of emotion. And certainly, this has been an emotional night for us. I just want to, echo Shannon's thoughts. I think I'm so thankful for the community to have been able to do this job over the last 8 years, and then another 3 years on the budget committee, 5 total elections. I'm very grateful for administration. Bill, I'm just astounded at the experience that you bring to this district and really, what you've been able to accomplish so far. And I feel really excited about, watching these meetings from home and hearing more about the good things going on in the district. And similarly, Kim, I echo the same comments. Like, I've known you since, way back to Reed's Ferry. So, you've, in Matt, of course, I've worked with you all these years as well, and you've really made this year rather pleasant and productive. And so, thank you. I also want to thank central office staff. Those are the people behind the scenes that do so much for administration and for this board. They get those, Sandy Swanson in particular, those packets come. Sometimes they drive them in person to our homes, put them in our mailbox just so we have them and we're able to continue to do our job.
She doesn't even get the dog to bark at my house. It's crazy.
Effectively. She eludes the dog. Is it? That's good skill. The district teachers and staff, and most importantly, the kids. I think I can, certainly speak for Shannon and myself that, kids are the reasons we do what we do, and everyone on this board, because they are the ones that are going into the future. They are the ones that we want to be college and career ready, and they make it so worthwhile. Every bit of even the last challenging couple of years, which have been very difficult for everyone, certainly difficult in this role. And it's been easier knowing that what we've been doing and what we've been working for is for the citizens, the youngest citizens of this town. And although people don't always agree with all of the board members, we have different views and different ideas about how we think we are servicing the students. But at the end of the day, every board member on this board makes the decisions with the intention of serving the children of this district. I want to thank my fellow board members, past and present. I've worked with a number through the years. I've learned from a lot. I've appreciated different perspectives and different point of views. I've appreciated the ability to disagree and still be able to be professional and work together. Merrimack TV, again, they're behind the scenes. They make these meetings available for everyone. They work tirelessly to get them ready and out there for our community. And, my family, my husband, they paid the price. They made the sacrifice, and I thank them. They're here tonight. And so with that, those are my comments. Any other comments?
I was the person at the Oscars that forgot to thank their husband, so sorry about that, guys.
It's a good thing you had a second.
So that's comments. We do have public comments on agenda items, so I will open it up the floor. We'll do what we did last. I'll open up the floor to anyone that's out here, and then we'll move if we have any other public comments.
Robbie Reisman, Irish Drive. So first, as a lifelong Duke fan, I have to say Lori Rothaus made my night tonight by mentioning Coach K in her speech. That was fantastic. I encourage anybody to do that anytime they want to. And second, I'm excited about this idea of alternative education program. I think that's a great idea to help with the dropout rate. And last, again, thank you, Shannon and Cinda, for all of your service and all your hard work. So, thanks.
Thank you. Shannon?
Just one. My phone fell asleep. Hold on one second. There it is. Rosemary Rung, 21 Ministerial Drive. Thank you very much to Shannon Barnes and Cinda Guglielmi for your long service on the Merrimack School Board. I know firsthand the personal sacrifice, patience, time, and thought that you've given for the benefit of Merrimack's children. We are much better for your service, and I'm grateful to you. I wish you both the best as you, quote, retire and enjoy the extra time.
Thank you. Any other public comments? All right. We are not going into non-public. So what I need right now is a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Made by Shannon, second by Lori. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. 300. Thank you very much and have a good evening.